All right, now moving on to some cradles from the head inside single leg defense. One thing, if I can keep a good enough block like we talked about originally, this guy starts coming up. As he starts running the corner, usually this knee will expose a little bit more like this because he's trying to get this knee to the mat. So as he does, I'm keeping this block, and again, I'm keeping this foot up. I'm gonna throw my knee all the way around his head and try to plant it right underneath where his knee's at, right? So I'm gonna get my leg as close to his leg as possible, right? The closer, the easier it is for me to reach around with my free arm and start going elbow deep and collecting this body lock here. So it's really important to have this elbow deep, because if I'm not elbow deep and I'm here, he can easily straighten his leg out and break my lock. But when I go elbow deep, even if I don't have my hands locked yet, go ahead and try to take your leg back, it's much harder. Now if I lock my hands, it's almost impossible for him to break this lock. Notice how I don't have my cradle locked up yet. I'm locked around his waist and his leg. I'm able to do this because of where this knee's at, right? If my knee's all the way back like this, and I try to reach around elbow deep, it's gonna be really easy for him to just straighten his leg out and break that lock. So I gotta swing this knee all the way around and get to here. Now my elbow should be able to touch the mat almost. And I lock my hands and I pinch. Now from here, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bump him to his hip. I didn't fall to my hip, I just bumped him to his hip. Now once he's on his hip, I can start attacking my cradle. So I keep this elbow deep, I can let go of my body lock, start leaning back, let his head start slipping out, and I lock around the neck. With my cradle, I wanna make sure that my grip's up high around his neck so that he can't break my lock again. Right here, once I get this cradle locked, it should be a match-ending pin. From here, I gotta clear my leg. He has my leg. Sometimes he might be able to hold on to it, but ideally, we're gonna try to sprawl our leg back and break it. If he does, either way, I can still pin him, but I gotta lift this near leg up and start stepping through. This is actually how I like to finish all of my cradles. I step up, I step through, and then I look to drop my knee on the other side of the mat, right on the other side of his hip, here. And now I'm using my forehead and my knee as balance. I have a wide base here, right? If I put my ear on the mat, he might be able to roll through. Here. So I keep my forehead on the mat. Now try to roll through. He's blocked. Okay? So he has sweep single, boom. As he's starting to circle around, I'm already trying to throw this leg all the way around. Here. Notice on my other side, I still have his head trapped. If I straighten my leg out, as I try to do this, he's gonna slip his head to the high crotch, and now we're gonna be in a different type of scramble from here. So I knee slide in and make sure that his head stays trapped the whole time. Here. So I attack this part, knee, and I collect my body lock. Right here, my knee's still bent, so his head's trapped. I'm just gonna push him right to his hip. Here. Now once he's here, I keep everything tight. I keep this elbow tight. I let go of my grip, and I start attacking his head. At this point, I can let his head start slipping out because now I got my cradle locked up. Now, I'm gonna start taking him to his back. I'm gonna step through, put my knee on the mat, and another thing I do is I let his knee slip out here. So if his knee stays on my ribs, sometimes it's harder to get the pin. If I start slipping his knee out and putting his shin on my chest, it locks his hip out, so he's not able to really defend from here. Now I got the pin, my forehead's in the mat. So let's show it one more time. He shoots as he's circling. I'm chasing this here. My knee is driving in here. I have this locked up. Bump him to his hip. I turn, I open this hip up slightly so that his head slips out. Now I lock my cradle up, I lift up, I step through like a Turk. And if I can, I try to pull this knee through here, and I easily get the pin. All right, so he's gonna be on a single leg again. Let's say we want to attack a cradle, but he's kind of balled up. He's in a bunch, maybe he's protecting his feet, and we're here, he's just trying to shoot in. This happens a lot whenever you're a dangerous attacker, when people are in on your legs. It's people shoot in, and if they don't get a clean finish right away, they try to just sit there and hold on sometimes. So we gotta have multiple options. One thing I can do from here, if I'm a big cradle guy, and which I am, is I can take my inside hand and I can get right at the top of his shoe here. Now I'm gonna start sliding his toe out. Boom, 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 boom. And then once it's out to this far, I can start knee sliding in again. Now look, his knee starts coming up. We can't do this. If he's balled up, I can't lift his foot up and start pulling it this way. The ref will call it potentially dangerous. So we gotta keep his toe on the mat the entire time. So I start getting his toe, I slide it on the mat. Now his knees already start to turn out. So now I just have to get it off the mat. How do I do that? I knee slide in, here. Now it starts getting off the mat. Again, I still wanna get this knee closer. So I slide it underneath where his knee's at. I get this lock. If I bump him to his hip, now I can start looking for my cradle. Start kneeing myself in the face. Now I start coming over top, dropping that knee, same finish as before. So just learning how to do this cradle for somebody that is balled up. So I knee slide in, I start attacking his shoe. I pull it all the way to the mat. I knee slide in, here. Now I knee slide underneath, I catch my cradle. Sometimes for this one, since you pulled his leg out so far and you're a little bit more square on with him, you are able to cradle before you bump him to his hip, but I usually like to bump him to his hip just to be safe. Cool. Now I can lock my cradle up, start lifting this knee up, step through like a Turk, drop my knee to the other side. So show one more time fast. You get a guy that shoots in, he's balled up. That time I put the cradle. All right, now we're gonna get into a different type of cradle called a switch cradle. So Ethan's gonna be on a single leg. Some people do this, they prefer this, and I can kind of do, I can do it whether his foot's down or it's up. So let's say his foot's up here. Some people go into like a switch like they're shooting their own high crotch from here, and they start attacking their heel. I like doing this one too. The key here is to keep knee sliding in, and then I start sliding my knee underneath here again. Now, one thing I can do from here is I can start straightening my leg underneath here, but I gotta keep my knee into his neck here. Now from here, I'm gonna start rotating him back onto his hips here, and then I'm gonna start getting up to my knee again. Now I can go elbow deep, attack the neck, and finish the cradle. Again, I can go switch here. I can go knee slide. The one problem with this is we usually have to go to our hip from here. I can't just bump him over to his hip because I don't have as good an angle. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knee slide underneath. I'm gonna turn my inside knee up here, and I'm gonna try to block his knee with my foot. That's gonna start taking him over. Now, once we get to this position, we could splay to him, or we could come up onto our knee, and I try to stay crunched in with my core so his head stays trapped. If I come up and I let his head slip, he can bail, which we're still gonna score, is good, but I'm a pinner, I wanna pin people. So I'm here, boom, I keep knee sliding in. Now I go back to my cradle. I'll show it once, even if he's not coming up with his leg, let's say he's hiding his foot. Rotate this way a little bit. He's hiding his foot, I can still do this. Slipping this arm inside, boom, here. If he falls to his hip, now I can just grab my own fingers here, rope my hand through, and put my forearm onto his ribs. Now from here, I can step up, show up this leg, let his head slip out, and finish the cradle. So there's really two ways to finish the switch cradle. If we're able to knock him to his hip, we finish by lacing our arms through. I'll show that one more time. So let's say I go here. I can knock him to his hip first. I still have the switch. I do an S grip with my fingers, and I drop my right elbow to the mat, and my left forearm comes up to his ribs here. Now I start putting pressure on his ribs with my forearm as I step up and shelf this leg. Now I lean back, lock up the cradle, step through, and finish the pin. I'll show each one a little bit faster. So the first one, shoots here, it's up already. I go here. Maybe he's not on his hip because his foot's up. I can knee slide underneath, pull his leg and rotate him all the way through. As I come up, go elbow deep. Switch to my cradle and finish it like we talked about before. Other one, let's say I get to this position, and I'm able to knock him to his hip here. Now from here, I can S grip with my fingers. I drop, switch my elbows, pull my hand through like a rope. Now my forearm is on his ribs here. I can start using that leverage to lift his leg up and shelf, lock up my cradle, pull his knee through, and drop, and finish my cradle.
These are only some clips of a much larger instructional on my Dixies and Scrambling. To check out the full instructional, head to Athletes Ocean. You can click the link below.